On Saturday night, at 8:30 p.m., the atmosphere inside the sports complex was thick with anticipation. 300 people packed a space originally designed for boxing matches. However, there were no fights scheduled on the official calendar that night. No tickets had been sold to the general public. No event had been formally announced. There were only whispers, speculation, and a challenge that had been brewing for 3 full weeks. A challenge that simply shouldn't exist. A challenge that would either become a legend for future generations or be buried in absolute oblivion. Muhammad Ali, the world heavyweight champion, stood 6 feet 3 inches, 1.90 meters, tall, and weighed 210 pounds, 95 kilograms, of sculpted muscle and lightning-fast reflexes. The man who floated like a butterfly and stung like a bee. The man who had defeated every challenger put before him, who had defended his title against the strongest, toughest, and most dangerous fighters on the entire planet, stood in the center of a professional boxing ring, wearing white shorts and red gloves. His torso glistened under the powerful arena lights. His body represented a masterpiece of athletic perfection. Shoulders like solid rocks, thick arms brimming with power, a chest that had absorbed thousands of blows and kept beating strong. He was the undisputed king of combat sports, and that night he had issued a challenge that absolutely no one expected. That night, he had publicly challenged Bruce Lee. If this story is gripping you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any impactful tales like this one. Give it a like if you want to know how this legendary encounter ends. Bruce Lee stood 5 feet 7 inches, 1.70 meters, tall, and weighed 135 pounds, 61 kilograms. He was a martial arts instructor from Hong Kong who had been causing a sensation in Hollywood with his philosophy and public demonstrations. He was not a professional boxer. He had never set foot inside an official ring. He held no heavyweight championships, no Olympic medals, no recognized titles in the world of established combat sports. But he possessed something else, something different, an extraordinary reputation. Rumors claimed his speed defied the laws of physics. Stories maintained he could throw punches faster than the human eye could track. Legends insisted he had mastered something that went beyond what Western boxing understood or recognized. For 3 full weeks, the martial arts community and the boxing world had been vibrating with speculation. It all began at a private party in Beverly Hills. Ali was there, surrounded by celebrities, the center of attention as he always was. Someone mentioned the name of Bruce Lee. Someone commented that Bruce had claimed martial arts could overcome traditional boxing. Ali laughed, not with malice or contempt, but with the natural confidence of a man who had faced the best and won every time without exception. "Bring him to me," Ali said, his voice echoing through the room. "Let him hit me. Let me see that kung fu magic everyone is constantly talking about. I'll stand completely still. I won't block any punches. I won't move an inch. Just let him hit me with his best shot. Then we'll know if kung fu is real or just a choreographed dance." The challenge wasn't intended to be taken with absolute seriousness. It was Ali being Ali, the natural showman, the entertainer, the man who could promote a fight better than anyone else in sports history. But the news spread quickly through the martial arts schools of Los Angeles, through the Hollywood studios, where Bruce was working on various projects, through morning newspapers and radio stations. Muhammad Ali challenges Bruce Lee, the world's greatest boxer versus the mysterious martial artist from Hong Kong. Bruce heard about the matter the next day. He was teaching a private class at his Chinatown school when one of his most dedicated students showed him the newspaper article. The headline proclaimed, "Ali says, show me your best punch." Bruce read the entire article in absolute silence. His students waited, anticipating immediate anger or rejection, but Bruce simply folded the paper carefully and set it aside. "Interesting," was all he said. 2 weeks of verbal exchanges followed. Ali's team made it public to the media. They wanted a visual spectacle, a resounding demonstration, definitive proof that boxing was superior to Eastern martial arts. Bruce's team was cautious from the start. This wasn't a regulated real fight. This was a challenge specifically designed to publicly humiliate. If Bruce declined the invitation, people would say he was afraid of the champion. If Bruce accepted and failed in his attempt, his reputation would be destroyed forever. But if he accepted and succeeded, he would have to achieve the impossible. He would have to strike the fastest heavyweight boxer in history, a man whose defensive reflexes were so sharp he could dodge punches he didn't even see coming. Finally, Bruce made his decision. He called Ali's manager directly by phone. "I accept," Bruce said simply, without preamble. "But this is not a regulated fight. This is a controlled demonstration. One single punch, that's it." He remains immobile. "I strike once, and then we are finished. No second chances, no future rematches, just one single moment. That is all history needs to witness." Ali's team agreed. They set specific terms. A closed private event, no mass media, no professional cameras, only eyewitnesses, people from both the boxing and martial arts worlds who could verify exactly what happened that night. The location would be the downtown sports arena, a place Ali regularly used for training. The date, February 12th, 1972, Saturday night. Now that night had finally arrived, and 300 people filled the sports arena, surrounding the ring, sitting in the front rows, squeezed together with the characteristic energy of a crowd that knows it's about to witness something that shouldn't be happening. Among them were boxing trainers who had worked with world champions, martial arts masters who had dedicated their entire lives to combat, sports journalists who had covered every major fight for decades, Hollywood actors and producers, and ordinary people who heard the rumors and somehow managed to get invited. The ring was illuminated by powerful overhead lights. Everything outside the quadrangle remained submerged in deep shadows. The resulting effect was theatrical, dramatic to the extreme. This was a stage, and the two men in the center were about to star in something that 300 witnesses would talk about for the rest of their natural lives. Muhammad Ali stood in the center of the ring. He was loose, relaxed, smiling from ear to ear. He was in his natural element. This was what he did best. This was who he was in essence. The man who thrived under extreme pressure, the man who turned every moment into a memorable show. He bounced lightly on his feet, shook out his muscular arms, and rotated his neck naturally. His red gloves caught the bright light. He looked out at the expectant crowd and smiled widely. He raised his arms to the sky. "I am the greatest," he shouted loudly, and the crowd exploded in reaction. Half cheered with enthusiasm, the other half remained in tense silence. The tension was absolutely electric. Ali stopped bouncing on his feet. He looked directly down at Bruce. The height difference was absolutely absurd to the eye. Ali was 8 inches, 20 centimeters, taller and 75 pounds, 34 kilograms, heavier. His reach advantage was enormous and undeniable. His fists, even inside the padded gloves, were twice the size of Bruce's fists. He smiled confidently. "Are you ready, little man?" Ali's voice was loud and clear, designed for the crowd to hear perfectly. "You're going to hit me right here." He tapped his own jaw with his red glove. "Your best shot. I'm not going to block it. I'm not going to move a millimeter. I'm just going to stand here and take it. And when you're finished, we're going to see if Kung Fu is real or just a cinematic trick." The crowd murmured uneasily. Some people were excited by the spectacle. Others felt uncomfortable with the situation. This felt wrong somehow. This looked like a setup. Bruce Lee was about to hit the world heavyweight champion, and Ali wasn't even going to defend himself. If Bruce's punch had no visible effect, he would be publicly humiliated in front of 300 eyewitnesses. If Bruce's punch actually hurt Ali in some way, the boxing world would never forgive him. There was no way to win in this situation, except to do something so unexpected, so undeniable, that it completely transcended the established rules of the game. Bruce did not respond to Ali's provocative words. He simply stood there, breathing evenly, waiting with infinite patience. The referee, a professional boxing ref brought in specifically to oversee this bizarre event, stepped between both men. "Gentlemen," he said, his voice revealing uncertainty. "Mr. Ali, are you completely sure you want to do this without any defense?" Ali nodded his head, still smiling confidently. "I'm absolutely sure. Let him hit me. I've been hit by George Foreman. I've been hit by Joe Frazier. I've been hit by Sonny Liston. Let's see what this little man can do." The referee looked directly at Bruce. "Mr. Lee, you understand the established terms. A single blow to the head or body. Mr. Ali will not block or evade the impact. After your strike, this demonstration will be officially over. Bruce nodded once. I understand perfectly. His voice was calm, but it resonated with clarity. There was something in that voice, something that made people in the crowd instinctively lean forward, something that suggested this was not going to play out the way anyone expected. The referee stepped back several paces. The arena fell into a deathly silence. 300 people simultaneously, holding their breath. Ali spread his arms wide. He dropped his guard completely. His gloves hung at his sides. His chin was left completely exposed and vulnerable. His entire body remained open without any protection. He was offering himself up as a stationary target. The most famous, skilled, and dangerous boxer in the entire world was standing completely defenseless in front of a martial artist the boxing world had never heard of. It was absurd. It was arrogant to the extreme. It was Muhammad Ali being himself. Bruce didn't move. Not yet. He stood 3 feet away, facing Ali. His hands were at his sides, relaxed, no clenched fists, no obvious fighting stance. He was simply standing there. And for 3 full seconds, absolutely nothing happened. The crowd began to stir uncomfortably. Was Bruce afraid? Was he reconsidering his decision? Had he realized this was a terrible mistake? 3 seconds felt like a crushing eternity. The silence was absolutely overwhelming. Everyone was waiting for Bruce to finally move, waiting for the blow that would either validate or completely destroy the reputation he had built over years. Then Bruce moved, but he didn't throw a fist. Not yet. He took 1 small step forward, closing the physical distance. Now he was 2 feet, 60 centimeters, from Ali. Close enough to reach him, close enough to impact him. But still, his hands did not move. His body remained completely relaxed. He was looking directly into Ali's eyes, and something happened between them. Something that no person in the crowd could see or perceive. A silent communication, a mutual understanding. Ali's smile faded slightly. His eyes narrowed with seriousness. He was seeing something in Bruce's eyes he didn't expect to find. Focus, absolute, unwavering focus. The kind of concentration that cannot be faked, that cannot be simulated through deception. The kind of focus that comes from a man who has trained for this exact moment for 30 full years of his life. Bruce's right hand moved. There was no visible preparation, no wound-up fist, no telegraphic movement to announce the action. Just pure movement, a fleeting flash. His hand traveled from his side to a 0.6 inches, 15 centimeters, in front of Ali's solar plexus. In a span of time that seemed to defy all known physical laws, the sound produced was not a dull, heavy thud. It was a dry snap, a sharp and precise impact like a whip. Bruce's fist made contact with Ali's body just below the sternum, exactly at the solar plexus, that complex network of nerves that controls breathing and connects to every major vital organ. The blow was not wild or desperate at all. It was placed with absolute surgical precision, delivered with a force that seemed impossible given the complete absence of visible preparation. Muhammad Ali's body reacted, but not in the way a boxer's body normally reacts when hit. There was no staggering backward, no spectacular theatrical fall. Instead, Ali's knees buckled involuntarily. His legs lost all strength. His arms, which had been spread wide in his confident challenge, fell to his sides uncontrollably. His mouth opened wide. He tried to breathe, but he couldn't. His diaphragm had gone into a violent spasm. The nerves in his solar plexus had been completely overloaded. He was conscious. His brain was functioning normally, but his body had stopped obeying the orders he tried to send it. He sank to one knee, then to both. He was on the canvas of the ring, kneeling, the world heavyweight champion, down by a single punch from a man 75 pounds lighter than him. The arena went into absolute silence. Not a single audible sound. 300 people frozen, trying to mentally process what they had just witnessed, trying to understand how a man who was simply standing still with his hands down had managed to hit the greatest living boxer with such speed and precision that absolutely no one saw the punch coming. They were trying to reconcile the image of Muhammad Ali kneeling, unable to breathe, defeated by a strike that had looked completely effortless. 5 seconds passed slowly. Ali still remained on his knees. His hands were braced on the ring canvas. He was leaning forward, trying to force his lungs to work again, trying to pull air into a body that refused to cooperate. His face was contorted, not so much in physical pain, but in deep shock, in total disbelief. This was not supposed to be possible under any circumstances. He had been hit by the hardest punchers in professional boxing. He had received impacts that would have hospitalized normal men, but none of them felt remotely like this. None of them had shut down his body so completely, so instantaneously. Bruce Lee stood over him without celebrating any victory, without boasting in any way, simply standing there. His hand had returned to his side. His expression remained unchanged, calm, focused, waiting patiently. The referee ran toward them, dropping to his knees beside Ali. "Champion, are you okay? Can you breathe?" Ali nodded weakly. His breathing was gradually returning. The muscle spasm was releasing slowly, painfully. He took an irregular, raspy gasp of air. Then another. His body was starting to work again. He lifted his head and looked directly up at Bruce. And for the first time in his entire professional career, Muhammad Ali had no words to say. Bruce extended his hand to him. Ali stared at it for a long moment, then took it firmly. Bruce helped lift the heavyweight champion back up to a full standing position. Ali stood up, still wobbling slightly. He shook his head, trying to clear it, trying to comprehend exactly what had happened in those seconds. He looked Bruce directly in the eyes. "What did you do to me?" His voice sounded hoarse, barely audible to those nearby. Bruce's response was quiet, spoken only for Ali to hear. "I showed you what you asked to see. Martial arts is not conventional boxing. It's not about raw muscular power. It's about millimetric precision, about deeply understanding the human body, about striking not where you see strong muscle, but where you find structural weakness. Every body has vulnerable points, pressure points, nerve clusters, energy meridians. You are the strongest boxer alive, but strength doesn't matter at all if I don't hit your strength. I hit your inherent vulnerability." Ali took a full, deep breath. His body was functioning normally again. His pride was wounded much more deeply than his physical body. He looked at Bruce with completely new eyes. Eyes that had witnessed something he didn't believe was remotely real. He extended his red glove forward. Bruce shook it firmly. Ali pulled him close and spoke directly into his ear, so only Bruce could hear. "No one is going to believe this actually happened." Bruce nodded with understanding. "I know perfectly well, but you will know, and that is enough for me." Ali stepped back and raised Bruce's hand in the air above their heads, the traditional gesture of a champion recognizing another worthy warrior. The crowd exploded into reactions, half enthusiastic cheers, half total confusion. Arguments broke out immediately everywhere. People shouting, debating heatedly. What exactly did we just witness? Was what we saw real? Did Ali let him win deliberately? Was it all staged and acted? Bruce Lee left the ring without delay. He didn't stay to answer anyone's questions. He granted no interviews to journalists. He simply walked through the crowd, through the exit, and disappeared into the Los Angeles night. Muhammad Ali remained in the ring for longer, talking with trainers and journalists who weren't supposed to be there, but had somehow managed to get inside. He told them all exactly the same thing he would tell everyone for the rest of his life. "Bruce Lee hit me. I didn't see it coming. I didn't feel the impact approaching, and then I couldn't breathe at all. That little man has something genuine, something completely real." But the outside world did not believe the story. The story would be told again and again, but systematically dismissed. Martial arts masters would repeat it with reverence. Bruce Lee's students would swear it happened exactly like that. But the mainstream sports media would ignore it completely. They would call it a groundless rumor. They would call it an invented urban myth. Because how can a 135-pound man take down the heavyweight champion with a single strike? It defies all known logic. It defies absolutely everything boxing teaches as a foundation. It couldn't be real truth, except that it was. 300 witnesses saw it with their own eyes, and Muhammad Ali felt it in his own body. For the rest of his life, whenever anyone asked him who had hit him the hardest in his entire career, he gave the expected answers publicly. George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Sonny Liston. But in private conversations, in quiet moments away from cameras and microphones, he told the absolute truth. Bruce Lee. A single punch. I didn't see it coming, and I will never forget it as long as I live.